Okay, hi. I just tried to record this video once already and I forgot to hit the record button in QuickTime, as stupid as it sounds. So this is the second take, so to speak. It is Saturday, 12th of September 2015. 1909, it doesn't matter what time it is. This video is about something seemingly rather odd. Namely, I am going to record a video of mine from YouTube that I do not have anymore on my hard disk. I must have accidentally deleted it, or actually I regrouped a lot of my files, and in doing so sorted out some that I had twice, once here and once there, and I misplaced it and or deleted it, and I don't know what I called it originally, so maybe I have it somewhere but not in the place where I collect all the videos now. This is my Snow Leopard partition. If you go into the files, there's an own folder for videos now. This is the path to it. Here are all the videos of import, so to speak. And the one I will record now, so this video I'm recording right now will show you me watching the video on YouTube. And the video I record is this one here. This one, as you can see, this is from 2 months ago roughly. This is here. So I have all of the newer videos. This one is actually not a video of mine. I just added it to my favorites. That's why it shows up here on my channel. All the other ones are by me. I will watch this video now and let the QuickTime player record on screen the video. Chances are the image quality is going to be even worse than the video is in the first place. It's mostly about the audio though, because see, here's the thing. I am pretty sure that Fax Mundi are messing with my videos on YouTube to such an extent that only I get presented these videos as I actually loaded them up. But everybody else, especially any friendly services of other countries, who might have gotten some super secret direct access to super duper YouTube functionality, in truth get direct access to getting light in their faces and getting manipulated videos. My videos most probably are either to other people picture-wise, that is the video you see, and or sound-wise edited to either utter idiocy, in the sense that they put a completely new soundtrack over it with something that has nothing to do with what I actually said, and or in this case, are just ever so slightly sound edited. For instance, cutting out the word "not" out of a sentence. And if you take the word "not" out of a sentence, the sentence gets a completely new meaning. And you can fill that gap by just stretching the remaining of the audio over that sentence. And no one can tell the difference in all of a sudden there being a different pitch to it because you stretched out the file or anything, right? So they are seriously fucking with my videos as I have them on YouTube, or very simply only portray them as public to me, but as not public to anybody else. Hence, anybody else looking for these videos simply won't find them. That is another possibility. Personally, though, I'm pretty sure that they actually go manipulate these videos. Now, I'm going to watch this video here, and I'm going to pause it right at the start. This is from the 5th of April 2014. That is when I loaded this video up. I added this this comment here a little later. I'm not sure if I added it a few days later or I added it when I started adding the other videos from a few months ago. This wasn't originally here, at least not fully. I think something, maybe the first line here was added afterwards or something. But the video as such was uploaded on 4th of April 2014. I want to point that out. And originally I did myself have it on non-private because my assumption was that, well, I mean, all the super secret services will get access to YouTube's secret videos anyhow. I must admit, call me naive, that maybe I underestimated the sheer in-your-face lying nature of filth in America. Services, armed forces, and so on. And of course the lurching crazies. So this is the video as I originally loaded it up. And this is not sound messed with or video messed with. I want to point out this just for completeness sake, I recorded this in photo booth, this video you see here, and it mirrors the videos around for whatever fucking reason. So this is actually mirrored. I just want that mentioned. Not that it makes a difference.
Hello there. So here we are, well over a year later. Me, myself, something like 18 years later. Here's the funny thing. This video goes out to all the secret and not so secret intelligence agencies all over the world, really, mostly the Western, I guess. I don't know if they watch this shit in Taiwan or in Burundi. See, you will know who I am. If not, boy, did you miss out.
Why would they know who I am? Because I had been at that point trying for months and months and months and months and months and months and months to the fuck contact all of them. Every fucking secret service in the world. Or at least everyone listed on, say, the Wikipedia's website that lists all the secret services and security, national security services of all kinds of countries. And everybody who had an email address or any form of contact, and be it a website with an online contact form or any such thing, I had trying to contact them all. I sent a letter, snail mail, to the U.S. Embassy, care of the Langley guy there. I sent other messages out there. They only at all let through, if even that, within Austria, from the very, very early hot phase, so very early 2013, or let's say first half of 2013, thereabouts. I don't have the precise chronology down anymore, because first of all, it's been a while, and it was hell for me then, because I got attacked from all sides. But I actually sent some letters to, I remember, to a lot of the Austrian ministries. So the Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of, I think, Defense, I actually sent them one. All kinds of Austrian ministries. They either deliberately let these letters through for further discrediting and so on, or filtered some of them out, whatever. So why would they know me? Because I tried to bloody tell them.
Something funny for you. I'm just going to mention a few things and describe briefly what they do. And there's one of them, one single of them, sounds very familiar to you, because, damn, we're using that shit, ain't we? What is all the other crap you talked about? Well, the other crap is the shit that I've had to put up with. And the shit that all kinds of people, private sector people, not state official people of any country in the world, useless pieces of filth, have in their hands and use to fuck up the world. And unfortunately, me in particular, because of what happened a little over a year ago. And me not quite playing ball, because my mind just said, no, something's fishy here. It took me months to understand what is fishy. But let's go to these apps, as I call it. It's not apps for your mobile device. No, it's functionality suits for the mind. First and foremost, the COM app, as I call it, via which you can communicate. There are 4 channels. Typically, if you do it in an orderly fashion, there's a whole lot of more channels, but for each communicant, there typically is 4 channels, data channels. One for the thought, one for the spoken content, one for physical things, bodily things, and one for intents and things like that. It's a little complicated. Basically, it's just a communication app. And then there's all kinds of stuff playing into that. There is the, as I call it, the mirror app, which is an app where you are being given the impression as if whoever is talking to you, and it could be yourself, so to speak, you were looking into a mirror.
Here I want to add that to a certain extent it is pointless to discuss at what point exactly how much functionality constitutes an app, because underlying the mirror app was simply an illegal downwards connection in your own tree, or even from a phases tree, be it directly from within or mirrored, so to speak, in the external ports. So a face from further up than you, connecting upwards to an external ports, but looping at the external ports down deeper than it itself is, and so to speak, you are being given the impression of it looking at you, or you yourself looking at you. The mirror app actually was more than merely the setting the connections thus. It was actually there was additional settings such I deleted the mirror app, hence I'm talking in the past tense. Obviously I could still, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but the filth working on me through the fucking proxy fill I'm sitting in love still pulling this years later. They still love making a connection of that fucking mirror effect, but it's really nothing other than nowadays that illegal self-downwards connection, right? But back when it was still a grown app, small as it might have been, it included a few things that went beyond the mere connection making in that particular way, such as setting the transparency level of the mirror, and thus being able to create the impression of something like half of you with something half visible from externally behind that. Right, so a semi-transparent mirror, so to speak, and so on and so forth. So there was a few little extras added to just the connecting basics involved in the mirror effect.
While you are talking to you, there are various other apps, little add-ons of sorts and functionality sets that play into this common app. But basically, the common app is the basic of everything. Then you get the magnificent, as I call it, infantry app, with which you can basically change the settings of every fucking soldier in this world. Namely, the moral settings, the sanity settings, how hostile they are, you know, how tired they are, things like that. You can just mess around with these sliders, and they work perfectly well for any old shit, not just wars. Any civilian out there with this shit, and they do have this shit, you can mess with their sliders and really make these people have very odd experiences, physically and mentally and so on. There's all kinds of other, oh yeah, and by the way, the armed forces of people's countries might want to talk to me about that infantry shit, because your armies might not be what you think they are. But that's just as a little aside. Then there's audio and video recording apps, which aren't all that important. There are imprints, what I call the imprint app. Any old thing, like a pack of cigarettes or anything really, somebody else decides, can give you some kind of pulsed little line. It could say, I don't know, if it were a can of beans, it could say, buy me, buy me, buy me. It could say anything. It could be something completely harmless, like your daughter. If you look at your daughter, and all of a sudden your daughter's view pulses you, hate me, hate me, hate me. Oh, magnificent things possible there. So there's the imprint app. There's the periphery of vision is enemy app. It's a bit of a specific thing. It's like anything to your left or to your right basically lets you know that it's your enemy, which isn't so, because it could be your daughter, it could be your dog, it could be your colleague at work, it could be anybody. There's that app.
It could also be, and I take it that that is the original background to that thing, it could also be whoever of your own soldiers is sitting next to you. Because if you're talking situations where you have a classical frontline situations in infantry context, you will have your own left and right of you. And if you start that routine, you perceive your own left and right of you as enemies. Also works miracles in a parade, say, for example. Or generally on civilians in any mass gatherings. Works a treat.
There's the Faces/Masks app, which is that a communicant can define a mask. So you could talk to your Uncle Joe, but your Uncle Joe might decide to have a mask off, say, I don't know, Jack Nicholson. And then you really have the impression that it's fucking Jack Nicholson talking to you.
And even here I want to point out that the Masks app was more functionality total than merely the using and setting, placing thus of a VI, as I call it, a virtual identity. It had user interface extras that allowed you to manage the VIs more elaborately and so on and so forth.
Even though it's not. There's all kinds of other apps such as the as I call it, the body function mimicry app. That's a fascinating thing. You can basically cling to another communicant, namely a real other body of another person, and take over their breathing, for instance. You can make them force breathe and things like that. And of course, via the columns, you can make all kinds of effects. There is the Voices app, which is also very interesting. It's just you get either your mind, your memory is familiar with a particular voice anyway, like that of Fran Drescher. I'm not going to try Fran Drescher. And then one of the communicants can decide to talk with that voice, so to speak. Or, even better, make you talk with that voice, if your voice section here allows for that. I guess I couldn't do Fran Drescher anyway, even if I tried. But within certain range limits, much is possible. That's all.
For instance, one of the things that was possible was that they found it very, very funny to make me talk like Barack Obama. I'm not kidding you. Way back in the hot phase, I was here in my apartment walking up and down trying to puzzle it all out when I still, at which point they had already removed probably their actual, once having happened, surveillance here. But forced me to keep believing that I still were being surveilled, and really the only thing that was happening was that they extracted everything through the proxy field, or actually back then, before I deleted the connecting infrastructure, still directly through my head, at least those who had that connection, because originally the filth that worked on me via one of the proxy devices did not have that connection. Well, that's details. Back then they were fond of having me walk up and down here in the apartment, not just talking like Obama, but even imitating his what is it called? His rather elegant way of walking, his swagger, I think that's what you call it. Is that swagger? Is that the word? Anyhow.
Well, sure. There's the what I call Post-it app. It's just a virtually imagined, for the aid of the mind, a little place on your back or on the back of your head where you can write something like "kick me" and then put it on there, which is really through the communication. You go, so to speak, you reach through to the other person, and at the back you leave an instruction like "vote Democrat," and with that person's avatar, oh, I used the word.
Let me pause here a minute for explaining two things. Namely, the kick me example probably wasn't the best example, although that is where the whole approach originated from, for the simple reason that such a kick it note typically is aimed at the person behind whoever has such a note stuck to his back. Whereas the way this app works is that whatever you write on the note affects the person whose back it is, so to speak. Meaning the vote Democratic was not aimed at any hypothetical person walking behind that person, but was aimed at that person himself, just that he had no idea such a note was stuck on him. That is where the concept originates from the kick it notes, from the kick me notes. And Post-it is a brand name for these sticky little notepad thingies, just in case the term Post-it might not be familiar to every watcher of this video, viewer of this video. And here I started at this very moment to use the word avatar, or rather, it started, I used it in my documents prior. I'll just keep this running and then say a few more lines.
Which, by the way, the usage of the word with those people who know or think to know what they're talking about, and for 30 plus years, we might want to have a little round talk about what is the avatar, because I think I should have these little tokens I don't know if you can see that. I know the video is black and white, the different colors. I tried to puzzle it together. I don't think you get it perfectly right. I think you get it perfectly wrong. And you have absolutely no fucking idea. There's tons of other shit.
The thing with Avatar was, this was April 2014. What happened, especially over these very few next following months, was that through the proxy field, the filth forced me to keep basically supplying them with some kind of manual of sorts to all of the app and its functionality and whatnot. However, the problem was that the filth brought their own wrong assumptions and ideas and interpretations and forced them at me. So to speak, they basically sicked their phases at me, which worked with the wrong interpretations of their ego originals, and those were sicked at me at my own frequencies and at my phases frequencies through what I take back then already was an early prototype version of their attempt to get me via the proxy field connected to whatever degree of efficiency, pretty much nigh on zero, I am happy to report, to their remote scenario app, what with me having deleted the original scenario app. Now, I must admit, it took me completely from left field to even think that they would try something like getting me remote scenario app. I mean, it doesn't work. To this day it doesn't, and it never will. But the sheer idea to do that is so idiotic, especially if one understands what the scenario app is and does and how it works. And especially as it was in my case, as I knew that I deleted the scenario app, I didn't see this coming. So I was susceptible, is that the word, to that crap approach of hurling on my own frequencies and my phases frequencies illegally connected in parallel, so to speak, through me, through my tree, preconceived opinions of where any precise manual that I was too puzzled to get off a dome on the workings of everything was supposed to go. And that is the problem why it took me so long to come up with a clear definition and understanding of the technical terms involved, because there was this term avatar and there was another term, namely master copy. And what I failed to understand was that I was trying to make sense and analyze something that really was two different things working at the same time that I couldn't tell as two. I always thought they were one thing when they were two. You can watch my other videos to understand what I was talking about. So that is why back in that video I still used the word avatar. And nonetheless, what I said here is true. The idiots that I got sick and me had it horribly wrong, completely, utterly, delusionally, religiously deluded wrong. And that explains that wrong word avatar. The word avatar is not used anymore because it's incorrect and it's not the right word for it. Watch the other videos to understand what I'm talking about. Namely from my hard disk and not from YouTube, because in YouTube they fucked up.
Like, oh yeah, like, how about you fucking talk to me? Oh, and then there's a funny thing. See, I've been in the clutches, not in the clutches, that's wrong, because I can resist them, but it is the most inhumane experience imaginable, that I have been resisting these people who tried to use me as the stupidest piece of shit on earth over a year ago to frame someone for the most ridiculous thing. It was about someone winning World War III or something, as far as I remember.
Actually, the word frame is misunderstandably misunderstandable. That's the way their constant discrediting of everything works.
But that's old stories. So, and it really is not the topic anymore, because, oh, and in between, I saved the world actively by deleting a virtual, which is a relational, is that the word? Relational database? Anyway, where you had all the numbers, so to speak.
And when I say virtual database, what I mean by that is that it was very real, I assure you, just that it was based on the functionality of all of this virtual virtualware in the mass populace's heads. You can also watch another video to get that part explained.
Of people's minds. It's a long story. If you wanted to talk to me, in fact, see, why do I do this video after a year? Because I have been talking here in my apartment endlessly. I've been writing documents again and again. No one fucking comes to talk to me. I know that there's bastards out there who are utter tools. They're mere puppets. They are server, in German the word is Dienerkreaturen, a little condescending probably. I'm not very fond of these people there.
Actually, in those months since April 2014, and that's almost 1.5 years now, the utilization, if you will, of the people living upstairs against me has undergone various changes. I'm not even sure if they're still the same tenants. Maybe there's new tenants and they don't have access to those new tenants, so to speak, or they just abandoned using them because it was pointless anyhow. What I can guarantee you is that back in the day, so to speak, they had real Abwehramtfilf and or lurchy sect people from Austria be physically present upstairs by making the real tenants leave the apartment, and they just walked in there instead, right? But even that is not being practiced anymore. So I'm not getting anything at the moment, at least, and for the longest time now, from upstairs. I want to point that out for completeness sake. Back then, that was very, very different.
There's a group of German people of about 5 that I have had the dubious pleasure of having them sit at my mind. And one of them is a clinical psychopath, by the way. And it's a long story, you know. And the thing is, after a few weeks of peace, where I'm in what I call an emitty field, which is a little device that emits a field of your generic, but basically your kind of wavegoing mind brainwave field. So I'm in this shit field, and there's the feepy.
The generic is obviously when they're extracting, and the feeping is one of the methods used when they are, so to speak, as I said, or I think I said it in this video, or in my comments here to this video, not in the video you see here recorded on YouTube. They use 2 Proxitech devices on me, or one Proxitech device that has 2 modules, which is technically the same anyhow. And what they do, and it took me, unfortunately, ages to understand that, is from the very beginning of the hot phase, they used the second Proxitech device to discredit me by shoving forged content into the extraction field and sell it as allegedly my thoughts and or that of my phases, which they are not at all, these thoughts. And when they shove content past me, so to speak, when they bypass my actual brain, and at the same time a particular setting is utilized in my brain to not make me hear that, so to speak, what they are lying all the while, you get that feeping sensation, right?
And all kinds of shit. I'm getting a little tired. Not tired, I'm worried, and it was going to happen my way, but I'm getting kind of tired because I'm talking my mouth off for over a year. And you people, some of this shit, this app, and there's a lot of stuff I didn't mention, I didn't go into at all into, a lot of this is definitely Secret Service / intelligence, not the Secret Service of America, just intelligence related shit. This is spyware, some of this. Which is virtual mindware for active field spies, some of this shit. Dissimulating, all of this, the infantry app, and it's a virtual simulation. You can do shit. You can make people alert in short force, you know. You can get one of these things. This is basically probably started off as a bullet hole.
Actually, just in case that part was unclear in the video, what you can see here is a clown nose, right? Now, the clown nose is not associated with anything, nor was it a symbolism of, hey, I'm a clown. The clown nose was actually something that a bakery here, right down the street, sells as a way of funding what they call clinic clowns, which is clowns that go into hospitals for where children with cancer lie and so on. And if you buy one of these these clown noses for, I think, €1 or €2, you basically fund that thing, right? So that's why I have it. What is meant by that clown nose is a sphere of sensation that is virtually simulated in the body.
You can just place this shit anywhere in the person's body, perception-wise, like, and then they're in their lurchy sect, and, oh, I have this man here, oh, you're healed. And shit like that. Or you can just wait in front of an abortion clinic.
And the reason why I said that it started as a bullet hole is because of the origin of this being a bullet hole in the infantry app. This is for the infantry simulation, and it started as a bullet hole. In fact, it's been a long time since any of these such precise effects worked at all. And it requires a bit of energy, surplus charged upness. But back in the day when it worked, these spheres worked that way, that the sensation was most extreme at its very center. So like if it was like a golf ball diameter or something, at its very center it was most extreme, and towards the outer rims it got lesser extreme. But it was certainly clearly spherical, and it was able to be placed anywhere in your body.
And any woman comes out of there, oh shit. Oh, and you, for the rest of their lives, just virtually place a virtual bullet hole in her abdomen. Ah, glorious. And it gets even more tasteless. There's tons of shit. I've had over this year, people come up to interviews, some of them unaware, as I call them, some of them told but unaware, which is people who think they understand what's going on. And I'm afraid a lot of you agents happen to be in that category. So you might want to talk to me. And in fact, you might want to talk to me for the simple reason to shoot the fucking German fucking bastards dead who the fuck come into my fucking mind. For no other reason than revenge, because...
And at this point, sorry, I'm currently eating a cookie. At this point I should point out that back when I recorded this video, I had already done away with the connecting infrastructure. So when I used the line, come into my mind, I was generally referring to a period of time in which I was bugged by these German people when they were still actually connecting. In fact, they are the ones that drove me to deleting the connecting infrastructure. And thereupon, they still tried at me via the proxy field. So this word come into my mind does not at that point mean that they still connect to my mind, but it referred generally to them messing with me and sicked at me by Marlon and the fucking Americans and their fucking lurking sects for a whole long time.
But it's one of them, they think they're important fuckers. That's a long story. You might want to talk to me. In fact, you might want to do something about this, and you might want to do something about this soon, because it's been over a fucking year. Thank you.
And that was the video that I wanted to record, because I don't have the original anymore, so I recorded it off YouTube. Again, the video was originally uploaded on the 5th of April 2014. I'm not sure if I said it at the beginning of this recording or if it was the first take. The text down there was a little changed over the time. I think I added 1 or 2 lines. I think the part with the NSA changing the swapped audio track and so on, changing it to a swapped audio track to be precise, that was added a little later when that thought occurred to me. But anyhow, that's that video.